Introducing Soul. He ain't a junkie, but he chews a lot. It's fair. Let's go get him.
Hello everyone and welcome to Solshow. Today, I wanted to do some kind of year reflection video, 2017 around the corner. With other review channels, they always do their top 10 favorite games, movies, albums, etc. And since I'm a multi-channel who doesn't play the latest games and doesn't always listen to the latest music, watch the latest movies, I thought I could do what I did last year and just kind of make a reflection video on the year prior and just kind of do some kind of analysis with that. And last year, and talk personally about myself and what has been going on the past 365 days. And around this time last year, I was not unhappy at all. I was happy with my state. Despite the fact, and my cat's going to be purring in the background for the majority of this video, last year I didn't have a place to live. I was going from place to place between where my mom was living, where my brother was living, and where my girlfriend was living. And in the first couple of months, I got my new place, I got a new car, I became completely independent. Before, my mom was paying for my car insurance, and that was about it. But now I'm completely independent, which is really the moment you step into the adult world, I would say. And on top of that, I've had a big year. My job, I've made twice as much money as I did last year. I actually got some YouTube money. I went to a lot of places. I went to Baltimore, I went to Washington, D.C., I went to WrestleMania in Orlando, I went to a bunch of concerts, I saw a bunch of movies, I went to Carowinds. I had a lot of exciting events go on in 2017, and more so than most years, I was able to finally do things I've always wanted to do. I mean, last year I was doing YouTube out of my fucking car, and now I am in a fucking small studio that I've created within my house. I have my own studio room. I remember years ago, if I said my dream, it would be along the lines of this. I would be able to at least vent my creative outlet, and I would like to take it somewhere down the line. But as long as I'm able to do it, I will be happy. And being able to do this, although it hasn't come out exactly how I planned. There's adpocalypse and there's a million other interferences in the art process, but I'm still able to do this, and I just can't dedicate the time I want to this, but in the end, I am able to do something I love. If I ever want to make something really amazing, I have the ability to now, and in the upcoming months, I want to get a new microphone and take my other projects to the limit. Also this year, Soul Music blew up a little bit. We are coming up on 500 subscribers. We just need a couple more dozen and then we're there. I started a Snapchat and an Instagram, which I will hopefully put in descriptions more often so you can follow me on that. And VidMe died a couple weeks ago. Despite last year I was plugging my VidMe, so hopefully Snapchat and Instagram don't die now that I've plugged those. And this hasn't been a perfect year. I've had actually a lot of bad things happen to me, close people around me. This has been a big year of tragedy for a lot of people with all the hurricanes and the fires and the fucking terrorist attacks that are happening left and right. It wasn't, and in terms of, YouTube, it's probably the worst year that YouTube has ever had. Usually the past years of YouTube, it was a growing platform. You could say it's not making the money it needs to. It was a growing platform. It was healthy. It was a good community. And this year, the community is worse. A lot of YouTubers that I followed have left just because of a lot of things going wrong with the platform. And going back to the actual tragedies, it's been a sad year, and I'm not exempt from the sadness. I always have weird negative thought spirals and just bad days, and I know in the end that they don't And I know in the end that they are in my head and that I have the ability to make them better, so I hope in 2018 to have less sad days. But before I delve into all the media that I went through this year, I also want to say I got my first tattoo this year. That was really cool. And of course I started my new YouTube channel, YouTube on the Rise, which I hope to make a channel where I and a bunch of other creators can make content featuring and promoting up-and-coming artists, or just artists that have good material, and I hope to expand on that as much as I can in 2018. I really feel like this is a year where I can do something with that project. And the videos I put out on that channel are getting good reception, getting good views. It's just I don't want to fill it up with content. Like this channel, I actually want to put as much solid, good content on as I can. But I don't want to fill that up, you know, with content where I don't have a good microphone and content that's not up to snuff. So I hope to do that in 2018. And since I already plugged Soul Music and the YouTube on the Rise channels, while I'm here, if you guys have music you ever want to get out there, if you want to have it featured on my music channel, you're free to DM me. And if you guys are YouTubers, then you are free to check out my YouTube on the Rise channel. On that channel, I feature other creators. If you want to get featured or to be a host of that series, you are free to DM me about that as well. And that's another thing I hope for 2018. So, right in front of me this page, I have a bunch of movies and TV shows and anime and games and music and books that I went through the year. And I've said before, a lot of my entertainment kind of just comes from riding waves and letting the wind take me. Sometimes I'll play a bunch of old stuff, sometimes I'll watch a bunch of new stuff, vice versa. And sometimes I slack. This year I slacked on books. This book over here, Turtles All the Way Down, and a couple older books was really all I read this year. And then I read the Rick Riordan books, which I do every year. And I would say I want to change that in 2018, but I, for some reason, find it very hard just to read books, even though that's one part of me I never want to get rid of. I always want to be reading. To be a good writer, you have to read. And I always want to be reading, so I really will hopefully try to get better at that. And I was slacking on gaming too. The only games I really played that came out in 2017 were Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, which I only have knocked a couple hours into. Pokemon Go, obviously, because I always play that because I'm a fucking loser. And then I played a bunch of old games. That's usually how I play games. I play a bunch of used games that came out in the past couple years. I finally got to play Shadow of the Colossus, Beyond Two Souls, Uncharted 4. Oh, and I played Mass Effect Andromeda from this year, and I have a video on that coming out soon to finally get my opinions out there from last year when it came out in March. And there was a lot of albums. I listened to a lot more music this year, but at the same time, even though I listened to a lot more music, I don't think I listened in-depthly as I did last year. How I listened to music, last year was to take an album by album, kind of listen to all the songs, get the entire perspective, and then go on from there. Whereas this year, I dabbled in just a lot of shit. I dabbled in more rock and metal music. I dabbled in a lot more genres of rap music, like trap, and a lot of other EDM styles. And in all honesty, there wasn't any instant classics for me. I really liked Damn by Kendrick. I really liked Rainbow by Kesha. And things I've reviewed before, that Oliver Francis album. I could probably look through my phone and see a lot of other albums and songs that I really enjoyed, but there was none that was like my favorite albums ever that came out that I've listened to so far. And as far as shows that I watched this year, I finally got caught up on Dragon Ball Super. That is something I always have been meaning to do. I finally did. I'm finally a part of the weekly watching community. And my brother watches it a lot, and I can always talk about it with him, so that's good. Bates Motel, it finally ended. I got my review out for that. You can watch it to see my opinion. And one of the biggest entertainment things I went through this year was Rick and Morty. The third season came out this year, and I watched all 3 seasons, and it's probably one of my favorite shows. This was the only thing this year that was like a 10 out of 10. Like something I just couldn't get enough of. I would just throw Rick and Morty on just like in the background just for the sake of it. Most art that comes out, I like experience it and move on to the next. And usually art should fight to keep within your attention span, and it should fight to have your eyeballs on it. And Rick and Morty was a show, despite the fact that I'm always trying to watch new things, I would just throw it on, even though I've seen that episode like a couple of times already. And I think with the popularity that it spiked this year, I was able to be a part of that. And I feel like it taught me new perspectives on the world, the characters. I see some of the characters and people I know in real life, and vice versa. As far as new anime that came out, I haven't really watched too much. And as far as new movies, I only watched a couple dozen. A lot of the mainstreamy stuff I actually really like Star Wars. I really like Star Wars. I really liked Spider-Man and Wonder Woman and Thor and Guardians 2. All the comic book movies I thought killed it this year. A lot of really good horror movies came out this year too. Get Out was one of my favorite films. I gave that like a 9 out of 10. Split was amazing. A Cure for Wellness was really great. I know a lot of people like It. I enjoyed that one. Pirates of the Caribbean 5, I have my video out for that. It was an end to the franchise, and for me it was a big deal. And we had a new season of Game of Thrones. This one, not as good as the last one, but still a lot of crazy shit went down, and I guess they're ending the show sooner than I thought they would, so that's gonna happen. And if you ever want to know, guys, what I'm watching or what I'm playing or what I'm reading, etc., what I'm listening to, my video stream is like a consciousness of what I've been doing lately within media, what I've dabbled in. And sometimes I'll make bigger videos or analytical videos on the thought processes that I have in between those. But anyway, outro. Thank you so much for watching. I thought 17 was an amazing year. I have 30 seconds left on that clock on the camera, so I'm gonna rush this. Thank you for an amazing year. For everyone who sticks around to follow me and watch my shit, I am deeply appreciative for you guys. And for all my projects in the future, I want to work with you guys. I want to be a part of a community with you guys. Thank you again, and hopefully 2018 will be an amazing year. And with that, I leave you.